I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day one of the war with Iran. We all heard last night that America struck with precision striking ability, the most beautiful bomb dropping of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day one of the war. That, however, is not what we're going to be talking about tonight. Tonight is Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. It is approximately 9:08 p.m. Eastern. This is the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. And Kate is here, as always. Producer Kate's at the controls, making sure everything is running smoothly. And tonight, when I say everything is running smoothly, it means a little bit more than normal. You'll see what I mean here just momentarily. Before we get into the main part of the program, I do want to let everybody know, because I'm afraid there might be some people here from Randolph County waiting for me to launch into some sort of big ordeal with Randolph County. That will not be tonight. Still stick around and tune in just to show you, folks from Randolph County, what I'm referring to made its way onto your local newspaper. Let's see, when did this happen? Friday, June 20th. So this is just 2 days ago. Alley dispute. It's the front page above the fold news. The Winchester News regret. They spelled regret wrong up here at the top, but I promise you, this is an official copy of the Winchester News regret. And the story is Alley dispute. Alley dispute. Council to look at options for resolution, which is a funny way of saying the government is trying to steal private property. And we are going to be talking about that, but it will be on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow, and probably more time this week, because here's what I need to do. Before we get into this, I need to issue a records request to everybody's favorite city clerk, Carrie, over there. And she's normally pretty quick, so I will issue her a request. Matter of fact, I'm in the process of typing it out right now. When I get off the show, I will finish it. She will get a copy of my request in the morning, and I look to probably have those records by late Monday or early Tuesday, and we will talk about it. Tomorrow, I will set up the entire situation over there, and it's really, really rather disgusting. It involves current Randolph County Commissioner Missy Williams, an absolute arch enemy of mine. It involves everybody's favorite doofus mayor, Bob McCoy from Winchester. And it involves his bumbling sidekick, the boy blunder, Meeks Cockrell, and then three of the five city councilors, which unfortunately is a quorum, and that's also enough for a passing vote. So we'll be talking about this, and I want everybody to tune in, specifically from Randolph County, but everywhere, because property rights, and specifically property theft by the government, is a major topic that everyone should be concerned about. And we will be talking about this on tomorrow's show. That'll be episode 474. It'll be Monday the 23rd. So tune in for that. But don't go away tonight, because we're dealing with, while it's not property theft, we're going to be talking about the government in Alexandria, another small community, Madison County, and the surrounding area, the township around there, Monroe Township. And this is kind of like a part 2 to what we did on Friday, because Katherine and I talked about the lead up to this. We showed you some video, and now tonight, we're actually going to have a couple of special guests on. We're going to have the woman that is the new citizen activist over there, who a month ago was just living her life, not caring about any of this. She was probably happier then, but we'll find out from her on that. But she's more engaged now, and boy, howdy, is she really getting at it. She's doing a great job. So we're going to talk to her. That's Lisa. And then we're going to bring on the couple, the husband and wife, that is dealing with, they're kind of like, when you're dealing with a pandemic, when you're dealing with something like that, you've got a patient zero, like they're the hot spot. They are the ground zero for this. And we're going to be talking to them, and they're the owners of the property where we looked at that video where all the water is. And there's a lot of people that are dealing with this, but they've been dealing with this, and they came on. So first, I'm going to pull up Dr. Callahan here, and we'll see what she's doing. Katherine, welcome.
Listen, I know we're talking about this show, and Kelly and Lisa have all started a storm here. But while you were, this show went live, I just got a message, and this will probably make more sense to Lisa rather than me. So I want to read this, and then I'm sending the stuff to Kate right now. Okay. So it all has to do with Alexandria Monroe Township. I know there's a lot of issues that are going on. So I just sent a bunch of stuff to Kate in Messenger, and I'm going to read this, and then this will kind of take us into the whole.
Send it to the group. Can you resend it to the group, like to me too?
Okay. So let's see here.
Madison County PS.
Well, Lisa's probably going to have to interpret some of this.
Oh yeah, I mean, you want me to pull them up now, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, you can go ahead and pull them up, and we can just. But I want to squeeze this in real quick.
All right.
That what the Wyckoffs are doing, what Lisa's doing, they're pulling in all this attention that people are starting to find their own voice to come forward with the issues that they're experiencing as well. And so it just is amazing that we just put this thread up, and now this has come in. And here we go. So this will be a really interesting. Kelly and Tom they've never met Lisa. Lisa's been out there looking at this property. We're hoping that Lisa will go out there and do some lives on this. I can only take this so far because I don't live in Monroe Township.
I always tell everybody.
A lot of people ask me, about that. So if we want to bring them on, and then we'll start with this little piece, and then it'll roll into theirs, because.
Yeah. So first I will bring up Lisa.
Okay.
Lisa, hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And I've been watching some of your videos, and you've been doing a great job. And the number one thing I always tell everybody, specifically if you're here in Indiana, is it's a one-party consent. You're allowed to record your phone calls with these people. I would never interact with government if I'm not recording and making sure that what they're saying is on the record, because they like to say a bunch of crap off the record and feel like, oh, I'm getting away with something. But I always like to make sure that they're not. So I like that you've been recording and going to the meetings and keeping them honest here. And I think that's a great thing. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And then we're going to also bring up the Wyckoffs. Is that correct? Is that
The
what you want me to do?
Yep.
Okay, so here's Mrs. Wyckoff. This is Kelly and her husband, Tom. And so we've got kind of a motley crew here. Looks like a good group of individuals.
We're going to be singing a riot band here in a minute.
Yeah, right.
So there's lots of information here, but I do want to say to all three of you, you should be proud of, as exhausting as this is, and as you want to break down and cry and do all those things. Hopefully you've gotten as mad as hell now, and you're like, you know what, we're just going to put it all out there, because it doesn't seem to appear that playing nice is always going to win you what you need. And people are going to say, oh, you'll get a lot further with honey than you will with vinegar. Well, I'll tell you what, they've never dealt with Madison County government.
That's right. That
right.
For sure.
So let's read this little. I just got this in, and Kristopher could probably bring up the pictures while I'm reading it. It says, "Hi, I have an office in Alexandria near the city building. The building I'm in has another building connected to it. They are separate buildings, but I do share a wall with them. This building has been empty for who knows how long. There is black mold growing on the side of the building. There is and has been an odd smell and a large amount of water in the air since I moved in. If you run a dehumidifier, you will empty it at least 2 times. I have contacted the city about this. If the outside is covered in black mold, what is on the inside? I talked to the city development or something guy, but I never heard back. I guess whoever owns the building has paid their taxes, but nobody can get a hold of them. I have also tried. At what point can it get condemned? I'm afraid that inside of the building most likely is covered in mold, and who knows what leaks and whatever else are in there, and the images are here. It says it's right across from the library. And the reason why this is important to bring up, because I think all three of these guys can say, well, it's going to take a minute.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know
it
what
is.
building they're talking about.
You do know what building they're talking about?
Yeah, I do.
So are you wanting me to show? Are you wanting me to
Just
put
show
this
the
up there?
pictures, and then maybe they can go, and then maybe Kelly and Tom can tell us how they started with EPA and IDEM, because these people are watching the show tonight, so you can tell them how to start the process. I do know there's another business in Alexandria who filed with IDEM last week because of the sewage backup. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take more and more, but they only did it because they've been seeing this. So wherever building this is, Lisa might go out tomorrow and do a.
Are these real pictures? They look like they're from. Oh, that's a real car. That's like a new car.
Lisa,
I thought this was like.
No, I know it's the part. That's the city parking lot. That it's right across from the library. I know exactly. There used to be a restaurant that was there.
So these are real pictures. These are real images.
At the very top, up at the very top.
Yeah.
That right there is a that's like a patio that they just built on that. On the back end of that.
When I was looking at this, I was like, I thought this was like from the 1920s. It, just being like a gray picture, but okay, that's crazy.
So maybe at least, so whoever that is that's sending me that, maybe Lisa will come out sometime this week and cover that for you guys and ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. There used to be a restaurant right there.
Well, that's scary.
Right.
Damn. Okay. So, and that's inside the city. That's Alexandria there.
Yes, it's downtown.
Okay. Well, that's crazy. So, Catherine,
there's
this is
problems
kind of your
everywhere.
circus and your monkeys, so I'm going to let you lead the show here.
Okay.
What?
So let's start with Kelly here. Tell us how this all started and about what year this all evolved.
We bought our house in 2021 from the bank. When we bought it from the bank, there was a tree through the garage. The well had been sitting for 3 years. So we had to do all of that so that we could get a certificate of occupancy to be able to move into the house legally. So we got the well up to par, bleached it and got it up to par and everything to pass. And we had the house redone. And so that was 2021. Well, in spring of 2022, in April, the first sewage pipe in the back that we weren't aware of broke open. So I took pictures of it and I made some calls and no one really was answering. So I contacted the EPA.
So when you made these calls, who did you call? Did you call the city of Alexandria? Did you call the
Yes.
commissioners?
At the county, I called the county, I called the city.
Did you call the
I-
health department?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And no one would respond. So I went to doing emails. So I emailed the EPA to get a cause number. You have to go through a process. And our property runs along the woods. To the back of our property is Pipe Creek, 5 lots total. Well, we bought it on purpose because of the woods and the animal and the river and all that. So when it broke open, I contacted the EPA because at first I was just worried about the animals. We had put an electric fence around the entire property for our dogs. They're Great Pyrenees. They need a lot of room. But we didn't mind if it flooded on the river once in a while or if something happened just to put the dogs in the fenced area temporarily.
Sure.
How many feet is it? How many feet is it between your house and Pipe Creek?
Well, it's 5 lots. How many feet, babe?
I would say 250 feet.
Okay.
Is it close? It's 250 feet from your house, from the very back of your house to Pipe Creek?
Approximately.
To the edge?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the creek runs along it, and that's part of the reason we bought it, So we knew if it flooded eventually, that's fine. So when the pipe broke open the first time in April of 2022, and I couldn't get anyone to answer, I contacted EPA through the internet and found out you have to do a process to get a cause number, and I did all that. And after being passed around for a while, they sent me finally to IDEM. IDEM to this day has done more for us than the county ever has.
And that's really pretty shocking. But I mean, it's not shocking that the county hasn't done anything, but it's to me, it's shocking that IDEM has. I mean, I'm glad for you that they have that. That's good. Generally, people don't have a really good reception with them, but I'm glad that you guys have. That's good.
Andy Schmidt from IDEM has been my biggest help thus far.
Awesome.
He has done the paperwork, put fines against them for that sewage pipe from the neighborhoods. That's over 200 houses that come into our backyard with raw sewage.
Sure.
They keep saying drains, and I know drains play a part of it, but none of them want to say the words sewage pipelines.
Right.
That are the actual factor.
And it's sad because that's been that way for decades and decades, because my ex-mother-in-law lives right there off of Q Street. And so I know that it's been going on for a long time. And I know that she's probably one of the ones that goes right into your backyard.
We did have Joe from the health department come out. He was the first person that came out.
And about what time was that? Was that in 22 that he came out?
No, that was in 23.
Okay, so this was all filed back in 22, and so it took until 23 to get. Now, granted, it was like September of 22 when that thing got issued that says the commissioner's at fault. There's all these issues.
Right.
I don't understand why it would take the health department this long when we, the people of Madison County, are paying for their vehicles. On top of paying for their vehicles, we are paying their county employees who are driving out of the county. Joe lives in Yorktown. Another one lives up in Upland. We're paying all that gas. We're paying all those cars. They have to go from the health department right through Alexandria to get home. There's no excuse. They can go that way. Now, we have gotten the Upland person to stop driving the vehicle. She admitted that on social media. So I don't understand why we've gotten all this grant money to buy vehicles and have all these extras in the health department, but yet we're failing to meet the people's needs like this. That's a big problem. This is an epic failure of leadership in the health department. And so when you abuse tax dollars, equipment, and those kind of things, and do not take care of the people, well, this is where it's all going to come to reality for Stephanie Mellinger. So I know she's watching. I am very aware that all the elected officials will watch this show at some point. They always do. So I want you to tell the people, Kelly and Tom, how were you received by the health department?
Well, go ahead, Tom.
My wife has handled most of this by the phone and everything. So we didn't get very good response from anybody. So,
As a matter of fact, when Joe Davis from the health department did come out, I showed him the site where the pipe was broke open. He was standing there and he asked me, well, where does this pipe go? Like he didn't know. And I said, towards the creek. And he said, well, can you guys have your grandchildren follow the pipe and tell me where it comes out at? And I said,
Holy smokes.
no, that's not their job.
Jesus.
Holy smokes.
And also, as we were talking, after it broke open the second time in 2024, when Joe was standing out there talking to me, and he only talks a certain way, kind of down to you when you're
Sure.
asking for help. And he said, if this was my property, what I'd do is I'd concrete it up. And that way it just flows back there and blows up because it's their stuff anyway. And I said, we can't do that. We won't do that.
Okay, well, that's funny that you say that because a friend of mine used to live in that house many years ago. Well, they moved out in, I want to say in maybe 18, I think. Anyway, and that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to put concrete and like seal it up, and they told her that they couldn't, that it was not allowed. She wasn't allowed to do that. That it was like basically against the law. And then he tells you to do that. That's
so they knew about it.
Oh yeah, yeah, like she's contacted them because it had, raw sewage had been coming in, and they had several kids, 4 or 5 little kids, and that were playing in it,
and if
I'm from Alexandria,
Wow.
and like it, even like I said, this has been going on for decades because all of the neighborhood kids out there used to go and play in Pipe Creek in the sewage, like every time that it flooded, like, yeah, but nobody really knew
what
what it was,
Yeah.
So, all of us Gen Xers that, lived out there, we were right in the heart of it, right in 4-wheelers and, dirt bikes and everything right in the middle of it.
And I'm
I'm
sure
so
these
sorry.
people just thought it was just water backing up.
Yeah.
They didn't have
Right.
any idea that it was the Wyckoffs who finally said, this
Something
isn't
doesn't
right.
seem right here.
Yeah.
Tom, what you were getting ready to say something? What?
yeah, I was bringing up what my wife said about Joe when he said about concrete and the pipe closed. And we're not that kind of people because
Sure.
now we would have 200 people north of us because we're like the low point of everything here. And if we would have did that, we would have had people, throwing bricks through our windows and graffiti on our house.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been mad if I was one of them people that lived north of us, But we couldn't come to do that process and stuff. That wouldn't have been right.
So now, Lisa, this makes sense when they talk about the Ballage area, when the CVS and the liquor store and the Ballages, they all said they had toilet paper and everything else. Well, when Kelly and Tom's area couldn't handle anymore, it's pushing back to those places back there.
Yeah.
So this is causing like a huge problem in that whole entire area.
That used to be a dump for one of the local factories here.
Oh my goodness.
Where CVS is at right now, that used to be a dump area for a manufacturer here that I think it was not asbestos, but insulation.
So a viewer is asking Kelly and Tom, they're saying, can you ask them if I would contact IDEM or who or the health department on that mold on that building?
That would be Andy Schmidt.
So they'd contact IDEM.
Yes.
So they're going to
I
have
mean,
to.
you can contact the health department, Kathy, but I would call IDEM.
And who this person who's watching, of course, call the health department, talk to Joe Davis, record it, have them come out, record it, and make sure that you do that just so that you can say to IDEM, yes, I contacted them. Now you can do it simultaneously because we know it's a slow process, but I would just say it so that nobody can come back and say that you didn't do that. So
I'd be more than happy to come out in video if that's something that they would like to do.
And
Yeah.
you can contact Lisa on Facebook. She's, you can go to her page and contact all that. So, Christopher, I just want to, as we go through this, the article came out and maybe you can read this. I'm sending it to you right now. If you can bring this up, and then we'll ask Kelly and Tom have had time to watch the podcast from the other night. And if this article that Ken Delabastide posted in the Herald Bulletin is a representation of truly what happened, because I didn't get any of these answers from that meeting. And Lisa was there too. She can tell us if she got these answers, because we had no idea what the cost of this thing was going to be. But Ken's report is going to be $22.5 million. Well, who told him that?
Yeah. Because from what I understood, they had no idea of how much it was going to cost.
Right. I mean, that's the whole big thing. Did they ever give you a cost, you guys? Because they originally said this was your responsibility to fix.
Yes, they did. They did try that. No, they never gave us the cost. I know that Andy Schmidt, when he came out the last time that it broke, and that's how he got, Joe moving again, which really didn't move him, or the health department. When Andy came out last time, he was asking us and our neighbor next door, Ben, what we would do rather than put in this new station that will cost us all a bunch of money when we have our own septics and wells, even though we can't use our well. We have our own septic that's not hooked to all this, okay? But we told him we would do different things. Like my husband had an idea that was really good. I'm not that good with this kind of thing, but Tom, what was it that you said?
Since we was the low point of this whole scenario, that they would just put in like a lift station and use a gravity feed sewer system down to a lift station.
Sure.
Pump it across the creek to CVS and tie into the sewer line there, because the waste management said that they could handle the extra raw sewage at the plant. So
Yes.
Well, that makes more sense.
And what was their response to that?
We didn't get any response.
So right. No. Geez, that's crazy.
For him.
Yeah, right. That's absolutely correct.
Being
So
very cost effective for him.
So Katherine and Lisa both attended the meeting. Kelly and Tom, you guys didn't attend the meeting, but you have since watched.
I was there.
Tom did. I was getting a new heart monitor. I had a heart attack after the second break in 2024.
Oh, wow. God, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope everything's going all right there, and glad everything's
and this
going
is what
well.
the stress of this whole
thing
I
mean, that's doing. The thing, that you don't need this added stress because of all of that. It would be nice if your public servants were doing what they needed to be doing.
Yes, it would.
So
I mean, if anybody has watched the movie Money Pit, where they buy that house, this is literally what is happening to this couple.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
And we've made it beautiful inside and out.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. They've done a great job inside there. It's very clean. They've done an outstanding job.
Yeah,
well,
we did from the roof to the foundation and everything in between. That's what they don't understand when they just don't understand. And my husband's a disabled vet. I mean, I don't agree with it.
Thank you for your service. I did not know that.
For your service.
No problem.
Yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting. So for those of you that were in attendance, and then Kelly, you weren't there, but you've since seen the video, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to find out if this is now. This has been going around, but this is actually the first time that I'm reading this. I was not there, but I've watched it several times, so I'm interested to read this, and I'm interested to see what you guys think on this. So the newspaper article. So let me ask you guys real quick: was Ken there?
Oh yeah, he was
Catherine?
there.
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't see him in the video, but okay. So this says proposed sewer system questioned, property owners concerned about potential tax hikes. And for the viewers, for those of you that were here on Friday, or for those of you that have watched that maybe weren't here on Friday, but you watched it on Catherine's content, I want you guys to think back to that video of them inside that area where they didn't put the chairs up. And I want you to think, does this match what you saw? So it says, residents of Monroe Township had lots of questions Wednesday evening about the septic systems, a proposed regional utility district, and proposed sewer system in the Scott and Phillips housing addition. They posed these questions during a meeting hosted by the Madison County Health Department, Madison County Commissioners, and Commonwealth engineers at the 4-H Fairgrounds. Now, that's interesting to me because from everything that I was hearing, nobody knew who was actually putting the meeting on. I know that's what they were saying, but I never got a feeling that there was ever somebody that was like the head person in charge. So that's interesting. It goes on and it says, most of Monroe Township residents attending who don't reside in the impacted areas expressed opposition to the proposed utility districts. James Johnson said he lives in northern Monroe Township and does not have a sewer service. We're not going to get one, a sewer connection. I understand, he said. I want to know what I'm getting for my money. I already pay a lot in taxes. I'm trying to find out what is being planned. Megan Mason voiced concerns about the possibility she would have to pay for her sewer system, pay for the sewer system in the 2 housing additions. Will I pay for the work being done in other areas? She asked. This is going to affect all of Madison County. Joe Garcia wondered aloud whether the project would grow larger and whether it would eventually impact all of Monroe Township. Jessica Baston, the Madison County engineer, said the meeting was designed to answer questions from local residents.
They had
Okay.
question box. They had comment boxes. You had to write out your comments and put them in the box. That's how he probably got all this questions.
Wait. So, okay, they had comment boxes. You put questions in the box,
Uh-huh.
and then what? Did they pull them out at that meeting and read them?
No, as far as I know, they didn't. I was watching them. I didn't see anybody, and I didn't see but maybe 10, 15 people max.
Did you
Even
guys
fill out
stay?
those little papers.
Did you stay till the end?
No, I didn't stay till the very end. I
Okay,
mean,
Catherine, did you stay to the end?
We were there till the end, Lisa.
what-
I mean,
but there
when
were
she
still a
and
few
I
people
walked
maybe
out,
going
there
around,
might have
but
been
not-
5 people left, and most of them were elected officials and
Yeah.
the people. I mean, there wasn't anybody left really in the building.
The reason what I'm getting to is, so there, there wasn't a time where maybe you left and they were like, okay, well, let's answer all these questions.
No,
Okay.
there was no podium for them to answer these questions.
Okay. That is a good point. That is a good point. So it continues on. We wanted to make sure people got the opportunity to be heard, she said. Do you feel like Jessica Baston or Rick Gardner or Olivia Pratt or Mellinger, do you feel like they heard everybody there?
No, Rick Gardner had no clue why he was there. He was just there just to see for the cookies and the bottled water.
Tom, did you feel like you were heard?
Well, I got to say that I talked to Rick. I went over and after Catherine, because I don't know who all these people are. So Catherine told me who Rick was, that he was one of the commissioners. So I made my way over to him and introduced myself. And we talked about this whole process. And I told him, we basically started from the beginning in 2022, and we went from year to year. And he told me that he didn't really know hardly anything. He heard about it. How about that? That was the best way to put it. That he heard about it, and that was basically all he knew. And he did give me his phone number, his cell number, so I could call him if I had any questions.
Wow.
But that was about the best answers that I got out of anybody that night, I suppose.
Well, that's I'll give him credit for doing that. I too have his cell phone, and very seldomly ever have I ever been able to text and get a response back. I know Catherine's got the same, so maybe he will respond to you in the future, and if he does, that's great, and hopefully he does. I definitely wouldn't hold my breath, but that's...
And with anybody that is going to start this process with IDEM or the health department or anything, I recommend that you get a notebook and write down every time you talk to somebody, who you talk to. So this process will go much smoother as long as you have all your ducks in a row.
Yes.
It took us a little while to get started, but we're on track now with everything, keeping receipts and whatever it is. If we talk to somebody, all the expenses that we put out so far, trying to get back in our house and everything. So
yeah.
And if you live in Alexandria, please, if you don't do anything else, have your water checked.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yeah.
See, the biggest struggle, Christopher, with this, and for all you people out there who even remotely believe that I go and chase this stuff down, I do not. This all just fell into my lap. People reach out to me daily. I get all kinds of information, and I try to address all of it the best of my ability. And what happened is I just attended the meeting in Alexandria and put it on display. And Kelly and Tom were in the audience. And I walked up to them after the meeting, kind of what elected officials should really be doing. And they began to express their concerns. They never met me. They didn't have to trust me. Their biggest thing is they couldn't find an attorney to take this case. Well, we always have an attorney who's willing to look at a case. I'm not saying she's always going to take your case, but I'm saying that she's always willing to listen to your concerns and see if you have a case. And that was Laureen White. Laureen was out of the country at the time, but I was in contact with her on that night and said, we need to get in touch with these people. And so from there, Kelly and Tom contacted Laureen when she got back into the country. And now they've got, something behind them with a little bit more oomph to it. So
listen, if Catherine hadn't been at that meeting that night, and I rarely go and speak in public, but I did because they kept calling us the site. So I wanted them to see that we were a family and we were real people. So when I went and spoke that night and Catherine came up to me afterwards and started asking me questions, I'm not trying to preach to anyone, but I'm telling you, God put Katherine Callahan and Laureen White in our path for a reason.
Yes, absolutely.
And then God blessed me onto Lisa. And I'd seen Lisa with a couple posts here and there. And then they were asking me to come up to Alexandria. Now they were asking me for 2 years to come up to Alexandria to do a city council meeting. I went up there. I've seen Lisa from time to time at a meeting for like a few minutes, but nothing, for a long period of time. And Lisa's like, well, how do you do? I said, you need to take over these FaceTime lives. And she's like, well, how do I do that? I said, well, let's just show you. And from there, she's just gone off the wheels with that. And I'm glad,
It's got to be exposed.
Yeah. And so if anybody who's watching this, I'm here for the people. That's all I'm doing this for.
Absolutely. That's the same thing. Like I always say that
no one deserves to live like this. No one.
Oh yeah. So I always say that, I've been politically active for a long time, but what that means to me is what I'm asking of the people. People think that I'm asking you to start a podcast and to start getting in politicians' faces and start traveling, 200 miles away to different communities. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm telling you to get to know your local mayor, your local commissioners, who's on the ballot, decide who you're going to vote for. Maybe decide that you're going to help a campaign. Maybe decide you're going to run for local office. Do something like that in your local community. You don't have to get all politically preachy and go crazy. That's how I was involved from the time my grandmother had me walking in campaigns and parades when I was 10 and grew up politically active. What made me start doing this was exactly what these people are going through. I was sitting in my house and I had some stepkids, my wife, and she was griping about what was going on next door, that there was something that the government was doing and it didn't seem right. I got involved and looking into that, and I realized that I was the only citizen in my small community at the time. I'm born and raised in Muncie, live in Muncie now, but at the time I lived in Winchester, and I realized, man, I'm the only citizen going to these meetings. There's no other citizen here. And so I started getting involved and putting this information out there. And then what happened was I was doing Winchester stuff. I didn't talk about Muncie. I only talked about Winchester. And somebody from Newcastle contacted me in 2016, 17, said, hey, would you come help us? And I'm like, what do you mean help you? I can't do that. And so I let them go. I pushed them off for 2.5, 3 years. And then when I finally moved back to Muncie and I started doing this and I got a little bit more under me, I realized, I can go help. But to Catherine's point, we can help people like Lisa, and we can help people like the Wyckoffs, but it has to be the citizen in the community's fight. When I'm in Muncie and Delaware County, I can be as loud and mouthy as possible, and I'm taking to do it because those are my elected officials. But if I go to Madison County, I don't have a problem being loud and vocal, but I got to be there as backup rather than the front face, because that's, we can help rah-rah the team, but we can't be the face of it.
Yeah. And Lisa, this comment's for you too, that just went up here, and Kelly and everybody. Stumblefoot said, why not get involved, Katherine? Erin Brockovich is a busy woman. So remember that, Lisa and Kelly, when you're doing this, although it directly affects Kelly and Tom at this very moment, it's true. If Erin Brockovich can do it, she didn't have any formal education. We, the people, can do it. There's more of us than there are of them. So absolutely. I don't know why people are afraid of them. Yeah, absolutely. But we've got to shake the bushes, and we've got to do it, pretty loudly. So, let's finish this article. And
let me read on this article. So she goes on and she said the county was considering several funding options for the project. Now, this is where people's ears need to start perking up because we're talking about money. She said there were several funding options for this project. Residents learned that, and I don't know how or where they would have learned this as a whole. Maybe a couple might have, but he goes on to say residents learned that that the selected alternative for the project would cost an estimated $20.5 million. The funding would come from low-interest loan from the state's revolving loan fund, and the county has set aside $3.5 million in American Rescue Fund plan funds for the project. The cost for property owners in the two subdivisions has not been determined. And I would say the cost for everyone else of the county has not been determined. A timeline for the project shows a public hearing by the Indiana Department of Environmental Management in February of 2026.
2026.
Yeah, right. I mean, are you kidding me? A formation of the rural utility district month later, with a recommendation by the state agency in April of 2026. If approved, the rural utility district would be formed in May of 2026, with construction to start next spring and take about 15 months for completion. In 2023, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management fined Madison County $1,700 for raw sewage flowing into Pipe Creek. The county then entered into an agreement order with the state agency to remedy the problem. The order states that IDEM did an inspection September 21st of 2022, and staff observed a concrete storm sewer pipe was broken. The water flowing in the pipe was black and septic with an odor of raw sewage. The inspection found the pipe was traced to an unnamed tributary where its discharge from a concrete outfall. Residents in the subdivisions are unable to replace the existing septic systems, which were installed in the 1950s. Alexandria Mayor Todd Naselroad previously said the city is willing to allow the connection of a sewer line to the city's wastewater treatment plant and has the capacity to treat the water.
There's not a possible way that Phillips and Scott's edition, because our water treatment plant is all the way out towards Elwood, almost to Arestus. That is quite a distance of like pipeline that's going to happen. They're just now trying to finish up Washington Street, and they haven't even, as far as I know, that they didn't even put in the correct pipes for Washington Street. So I don't understand how they think that all of those houses out there will be able. It floods. It was just flooding when I went out to with Catherine out to the White House. When it was flooded out in their backyard, it was flooded over there by the water department or the sanitary department. So I don't understand how they think that it can't hold it when we have to arrange just with Alexandria on it. How you're going to get two other additions, and then eventually, I'm sure Innisdale and Bunker Hill, which are the other two additions on the west side of town, that they're going to have to be hooked up to it too. So I don't understand.
Lisa, somebody's asking how close is the Wyckoffs to the Superfund site. I don't know where the Superfund site is, but that might be something. Nicole will know where the Superfund site is.
Nicole's asking it.
Are they talking about Washington Street?
No, there's a Superfund site in. Have you heard about these Superfund sites?
I have not.
I can maybe ask if I thought Nicole would know. Maybe I can ask Bree. I don't know. So I mean, we can get the answer.
Do you want to tell Christopher? You want to tell her what a Superfund site is?
No.
a Superfund
site. Well, go ahead.
Just generically, it's just a site that's been contaminated. It's on a log that it's supposed to be cleaned up, and they're supposed to redo it. Like they have high levels of contamination in them. There's several in our county. Have you not seen this? Us talk about the Superfund thing?
So it's
off the
something
chain
that the government knows. It's like something that's supposed to be being worked on, being cleaned up, but that's very slow happening. It's something that like the federal government knows about, and they're all over. If people really truly knew where all these places were, people would be freaking the hell out. I mean, it's totally insane. I forget what we had Bree on. I forget what she said. There's like, I don't know, 70 in Delaware County. There's like 50 or 60 in Madison County. They're all over the place. It's really gross.
I'll send you some information.
Please do. I'd like
Don't they also call these brown sites?
Well, they are. There's some of them that are. They like overlap. They're a little bit different. I think you can have a brown site that's not a Superfund site.
Yes, you can
have a super site that's not a brown site, but they do like overlap at points, but yeah, similar to that. There's 42 in Madison County.
So yours is at Fairview and 4th Street. It's on
however close you guys are to that.
Yeah, it's not on the national priorities list. It's classified as no further remedial action planned right now. This designation means that the EPA has determined the site does not qualify for the national priority list based on the information available according to the EPA.
So what this basically
there's
means...
another one at 10905 North 100 West. And I'll send this to you,
yes,
Lisa.
Okay, 100 West. That's what.
Cutting through all the bullshit. Basically, that means there's some nasty shit coming out of it, but not enough that they consider enough to be bad enough. Now, would they drink the water that's around there? Hell no. But that's where we are. So there's some, but not a whole lot, which does not make me feel very good.
But don't we have the largest human raw sewage dump in our backyard, then it's got to be astronomical on the numbers with over 200 houses sewage in our backyard. Isn't that qualifying for something?
You know, the big thing is that people do need to look at themselves. People need to test the water. People need to worry about hepatitis A that can come through raw sewage. There's lots of concerns about what this can do. And what people need to understand is our skin is our largest organ on our body. So you're bathing in this and I got a call one time from Kelly and she was just in tears. And she keeps if you go into her home, if she welcomes you into her home, it's a very, very tidy house. It's very clean. And she says, after we get these reports back and the E. coli level is greater than 200, she says, I'm wiping my walls down with shit.
Yes.
And floors and bathtubs and dishes and clothes.
And what people need to understand, and I cannot express this to you.
You're cooking spaghetti and shit.
Yes.
What I cannot express to you more than anything, just because water is odorless and it's tasteless and it's clear does not mean it's safe drinking water. This is what people need to understand.
I have orange water.
I guess today they had a big water issue in Alexandria. It's all over social media.
I wasn't home, but yeah, when I first had my daughter, she was about a year old, so she was doing formula, and I took a gallon of water, and this is when it wasn't Nasal Road. This had been a while ago. It was Jack Woods, actually, is who it was. And I took a gallon of water up to his office and showed him, and it was orange, like burnt orange rust water that was coming out of my faucets. And like I couldn't even wash my white clothes because they would turn orange. And so I'd have to go to Anderson or to Elwood and wash my clothes. So I mean, the water has been going on for a while here.
It
and
has.
The only reason why it hasn't been addressed is because the people have not pushed hard enough.
No,
right.
You're right. And I mean, people have commented. I mean, people have been upset about it. People have been talking about it. But no, I mean, every time that you go out and say something, oh, well, that's just the way it's been. Well, no, it hasn't. When they put in the Poet plant, that's when the majority of the water that I've noticed is when it started turning orange, because what they would do is they would backwash I guess they'd suck the water that they needed, and then when they stop, it would all rush back. Well, these are hundreds of years old pipelines, and so all the rust and everything else would break loose, and that's what would make our orange. That's the excuse they gave me.
Well, Joe Black wants you guys to start offering refreshments at the council meetings, and he would like you to bring in water to have them wash it down with.
Yes.
Tom was going to do that, but we figured that the police that were there would probably throw us out or put us in jail.
No, you're allowed to go up there and offer water. Aaron Brockovich does it all the time.
And just so you know, we put in a whole house water system. And then we put in a secondary filter and a new water softener. Now, mind you, with our E. coli and coliform being that high, I had no idea that those things won't get rid of that ever. As a matter of fact, they're all contaminated in trash. So is our dishwasher, our washer, everything. So our house was built in 1976. So our well wasn't put in until 1976, and our septic wasn't either. So we're not attached to either neighborhood, and yet we're taking the fall for the county at the moment.
Right.
So, Christopher, can you bring up what I just sent you, and maybe Kelly can tell us? This is today's pictures out there at the Wyckoff's house. Just sent it to you in Messenger, and they can kind of explain these pictures where Mellinger says she's not aware of any. Has Mellinger ever, Kelly, has Mellinger ever visited your property?
No, not to our acknowledgement.
Okay.
So yeah. So you guys are unaware of that.
So Mellinger's never made it a point to come out and see you. Only
No.
Joe.
Yeah, when Joe Davis came out, he has walked into the backyard to where the pipe has exploded, but he has not physically walked into the woods out to where it comes out into Pipe Creek at all.
Never.
Has anybody?
Andy Schmidt
from
did.
IBM.
So IDEM's the only one.
Yes.
And Joe did show up at our house sometime this year, a couple months ago, with a group of young adults that he sent into the woods to find out where the pipe was over there. But he didn't get his shoes dirty or his truck dirty or anything.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, why would they play in? Why would they play in that water? Isn't that what Stephanie said, Catherine? Why would
Well,
anybody
you
play in that
know,
water?
Stephanie said people just common sense should know better, right? I
Right.
Yeah.
mean, and I mean, I get it. I don't disagree with Stephanie, but the whole reason why we're in the world that we're in and the role that we're in, the reason why we go and get these educations is to educate the community, right? So me telling all of you, just because the water's clear and odorless and tasteless doesn't mean it's not contaminated. I mean, that, you know, most people don't think of it that way. Most people are like, oh, it's, you know, we trust the government. It's all clear. It's all good. And we should just do that. You know, hey, we should all just wear masks because the government said so. Hey, we should just get the vaccines because the government said so. And so that's the whole part with all of this, is that, you know, you have to be your own advocate. And right now, Monroe Township is in a bad way with all that sewage backing up. If the Wyckoffs are contaminated, other houses have to be contaminated. I am going to say this. I was never more insulted than when Stephanie Mellinger insinuated that I took samples from the yard.
Oh.
Are you nuts? What would I care? I don't think the Wyckoffs are going to go outside and start slurping up the water out of the yard. I could care less about that. Okay.
And as a matter of fact, we had that water tested by a separate entity in Alexandria before Katherine came out and helped us do it to send to the state of Indiana for $800 and some, whereas we got it tested before locally for $50. So it is within price range to find out, because it was clear as a bell and still is. Without even looking at it, you would not know. We did not know until our dogs got sick. They got giardia from it. And we wouldn't have known our water was bad or to do any of this about our well, because we never thought about our well getting contaminated. They wouldn't let that happen, right? Until our dogs got sick.
And after our
that's the
dogs
whole
got
thing.
sick,
Go
You-
ahead, Tom.
yeah, after our dogs got sick, we ended up, they was due for their appointment, and I explained this to the vet and everything, and they told us to give them certain medicine, certain food for a couple weeks that would help clear out the giardia out of their system and stuff. And then while this was going on, we got our own in-home test, because we started smelling a different smell because we have a water softener and a whole house filter and everything. But, you know, you can tell when it's soft water.
Sure.
And now you got this little bit of odor. So I went and got a home house test bacteria, and it was a 72-hour test. So I did exactly like the test said. And then on the third day, and it tells you to shake it, move it around, you know, in the vial for the third day, and it can't turn green right off the bat. And after that, that's when we started getting concerned. And that's when we had another company come in and do water tests for us to see what the coliform level and E. coli, you know, everything was. And that's how we found out that that the water was bad. And then all this process has started from there. So
So it wasn't just Catherine, Stephanie.
yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Let me just ask you this. Where are you two doing this show from, and why?
We're doing it. We're in Westfield, Indiana, and we are in a 32-foot RV right now.
Thank
If you
goodness
wanna-
for one of my best friends for
Yes.
loaning us the RV. Even though we are going to make the payment this month for it, because that's the least we can do for her letting us use this during the summer when she could go on vacation.
So you guys are,
And you're not on your property in this
You're
camper.
put out. You're put
Oh,
out.
no.
You're put out at the time because of this, and I just cannot imagine the besides the just mental and physical stress of all of this, the financial burden and everything that is going on because of this is just absolutely astronomical. And I am so sorry to hear this. It's disgusting. And one of the things that Katherine said a moment ago about you have to be your own advocate. I talk about this all the time. When I first started doing the thing in Winchester, when I had that fight, there were literally people that would come up to me and be like, well, we know you're right and we agree with you, but this is not our fight. We live on the north side, or we live on the east side, or whatever. And I remember after all of that fight concluded, about a year later, the city started doing something crazy in another area of town. And there was a meeting where it was standing room only. And I tell this all the time. And these people came up to me after the meeting and said, hey, could we talk to you? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, we are so sorry. We knew you were right. We should have got involved, but it wasn't our fight. But, we've got this going on. Will you help us? And I didn't tell these people to, toss sand or get lost or whatever. I said, yeah, I understand. This is the thing that I always tell people. And I always tell people, people are like, well, you're talking about Madison County. I'm going to turn it off. This isn't about Randolph County, or this is not about Henry County. Listen, you need to listen to this shit, even though it doesn't involve you, because this is about how to do shit when it involves you, because this will happen to you. It might not be sewage. It might be they're going to put in an apartment complex, or they're going to allow a strip club going in, or God knows what it is. The fight will come to you, and you do have to know how to fight and stand up for yourself against the government. And if you don't get these ideas now, you're going to be up a creek without a paddle when that time comes. And the other thing is, we have to understand that it's okay to also help our fellow citizens, even though it might not be our fight. And so that's the first thing I want to say, because I read that article, and Ken is doing just what the government wants when he's like, well, most of the people here didn't live in that area.
And that's not true.
That
place was covered with people who lived in.
Yeah.
Okay. So not knowing that, I didn't know. I would have known that.
Yeah, there was almost, I would say 95% of the people that were there are from that area, from the Phillips and Scott's edition.
That are being affected. And what people need to understand, like Lisa and I have tried to express, if this passes, this is going to happen. This is the master plan for this to happen to the entire county.
Yeah,
it's going to come to all of us.
Yep. Well, and if you want to talk about just piss poor, stupid government in Madison County, that's affecting everybody. So, it might not be this water issue, but these are your elected officials, Madison County.
Right. So let's
go ahead. Go ahead.
I said this fight would have started a lot sooner, but like Katherine was saying, when we was at that non-official town meeting there at next to the police station in Alexandria, that if we didn't meet her, because we tried to call lawyers prior to this, and my wife called several lawyers, and nobody would take the case because they didn't want to have to go against the county to do this. And now Katherine has got us hooked up with Laureen so we could do something about this. And
Lisa helping us, and Chris putting us on his forum, and all of your help is so appreciated, because we've been busy moving 300-pound water tank. Okay, I'm 61 with a heart attack. My husband has disability in his feet, Charcot foot disease, and we are moving this tank over our fence with a big board. Like, we could have made funniest videos easy. We had to make a pad to put it down. We have to have the water brought in. We're going to test the water, you better believe, when we're done, and we'll have a UV system and the whole 9 yards. We won't trust anybody on our water again.
Sure.
But at the same time, no one should have to go through this, and I would love to see any of them have to live in our house for 1 week.
Yeah.
1 week.
Yeah. Well, you bet your ass if this was going on if this was their backyard, this wouldn't be an issue.
You bet you.
Yeah, and they don't realize all the trouble this is, because when this first happened, because we go to church right there in Alexandria, and they have a mission house just south of about 4 or 5 houses away from the church, and they was kind enough when we was having all this getting started with this. They told us that we could go over there and use their mission house to to get water or whatever. So
Laundry, shower, dishes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, we're going over doing laundry, shower, and dishes. And by the time you got to bed at night, went home and ate dinner and stuff, it's 11 o'clock at night. So it's an ongoing process all the time. Go and get 20 gallons of water in gallon jugs and bringing it back. Yes, this is a major headache. And try to wash dishes.
And try to give our dogs water. And this is just to wash our hands, people. We were using all these gallons to take showers. You go
Yeah.
through water like crazy. We power sprayed our house. We used to have tomato plants in a garden. I love flowers. We were contaminating everything that we did and not knowing
Ah.
it. The animals come up to our bird bath to get water because we would put out fresh water versus the creek water with the poop in it. Really.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's
So
totally crazy.
when you flooded the last time and there was all this overflow, did you reach out to any elected officials or appointed officials?
We have to be careful who we reach out to now that we have Lorraine as our lawyer. And if some people think that you're headstrong and abrasive, at this point, 4 years later, if they actually lied to my face, if I'd have went to that meeting with Stephanie saying lie after lie and I'm screaming at the video, they would really think I'm aggressive because I've had it.
So when you did contact like Olivia Pratt and Stephanie Mellinger in the past, what was their response to you about the overflow and the flooding?
Well, I sent you the text because I can't remember everything, Catherine. Okay. I'm getting old.
Basically, it was go get your sandbags for free uptown.
That's what Olivia said. Yes, you can feel free to go get sandbags.
And so, Christopher, let's bring up some of this verbiage. And it's with these pictures. These are today's pictures. It's all in the same thread. And Kelly's head might swirl off her shoulders here in a minute. So you want to explain what this is, Kelly, what we're looking at?
Tom.
This is the septic pipe where it broke the very first time.
April 2022.
Yes.
And folks, this is not, you're looking at that black stuff. You know how on the Clampets, Jed Clampett found black gold? Oh, honey, this is not black gold. This is black poop.
Wow. I mean, I'll be honest.
way.
When I was looking at this, I didn't see what this was. When I was looking at this on a lower screen, I thought for a second that was like black tarp and you'd put DARP down on it. So that's actual like that brackish black water. This is sewage.
Yes,
That's
the
what I
very
thought was
first
the
time when the
flashback.
pipe broke.
200 plus houses worth.
I can see it now. That is
Holy
nuts.
And this is not our septic at all.
Oh, wow.
Good Lord. Okay. And this, what are we looking at here?
This is actually where the pipe is broke. This was a few days after the last flood we just had. What was it? A few days ago or whatever. This is after the water has receded, and it's just that hole there showing now. I don't know.
Bubbling up.
Yeah, I think this is. Well, I'm trying to make it bigger myself.
And there are several locations that do this. He's only showing you one bubble because the pipe over time is breaking more and more, and we're at about 8 breaks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Lisa, you better get you some duck boots, sister.
And
Honey, there's a sinkhole. You better get in a kayak, but not. You're gonna have to have somebody come get you in a hazardous mat suit.
I got somebody that's got a kayak. I went kayaking today. I'm pretty good at it.
And where this pipe broke the very first time, where you seen where the black sewage was in, this is about 10 feet away from that now, because the water has came down and washed out the ground underneath of it. Because April 3rd, when we had the flood prior to this, I walked out there and I was trying to get close enough to take pictures, and the ground started sinking under my feet like I was falling in a hole. And so just imagine that. So
Lisa, be careful if you take any more pictures or anybody.
You better go out there
I
and
will.
with the walking stick.
Yeah, I will.
Crazy.
Let me know.
I'll
We'll get a
come
rope
over
and
with you
everything.
let you walk it while I film you.
No,
Right.
okay.
What do we got here?
Go ahead, Tom.
this is directly across from our house
I
where
reported this the other day too.
where our mailbox is. And we just sent Catherine some recent pictures from today where the water is coming out the drain just about 60, 70 feet south on Scott Street there. And the water is running down the road past our mailbox. It runs out into the road and then it is ponding at the bridge. There's like two puddles of it, but I don't know if you have them videos or not. So
It's where the sidewalk goes across, and believe me, we have a lot of pedestrian traffic and kids on bicycles,
I videoed
and
that
they're
the other
going through
day.
the sewer water without even knowing.
I videoed that the other day. I was
Yes, you
walking
did.
along.
You know, Lisa. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so yeah,
sewage water right there by the bridge and the sidewalk.
Yep.
and if she has other pictures, you can see where it's going up the road.
you would never know. You would never know that going by. You just think that it's yeah, that's crazy.
Rainwater. Yeah.
And cars are going through that, splashing it. So
Yeah.
So here's some great feedback, Christopher, from people.
So okay, so here's the blue is who? Who's the blue writing?
Kelly.
It's one of you. It's
Trying
Kelly.
to make it bigger so I can see.
Okay, she's on the phone. So it looks like the blue might be actually
The blue is me.
Kelly Wyckoff.
Yes.
Okay. So it says, when did you speak to the engineer and the firm? How long will it be before I have some kind of plan, maybe?
Yeah.
And Joe says Thursday night and Friday morning both. What time and where, please? Kelly, I appreciate your frustration with this situation. This is Stephanie Mellinger saying this.
And here she goes talking to people like they're a child.
I appreciate your frustration with this situation. You know firsthand it's not easily remedied. This is quite complicated, not an easy fix as you have experienced. Additionally, I assure you, Joe Davis is excellent at his job. He is knowledgeable and proactive. Joe had a meeting yesterday morning. We are awaiting IDEM's response. Stephanie. So that's her response there. And moving on. Okay. This is Kelly messaging Olivia. Hello, my name is Kelly Wyckoff. My husband Tom and I are in a state of emergency in our home. I have contacted Joe Davis to inform him that sewage pipe is broken once again behind our home, but his response was slow and of no help at all. Thus, I am contacting you in the hopes of getting some real assistance. The sewage pipe is now not only leaking into our property, but it is also now mixed into the creek water surrounding our home. It is also causing major concerns as our two Great Pyrenees are in the fenced-in part of our yard, which is getting smaller and smaller from the water. I'm sure that they will get sick if this continues, as well as our well water has been contaminated and compromised since 2022. I am sending you a video as well as Joe's lackadaisical response. Please help us. So then Kelly sends the message to Joe and sends the address, sends the number. My husband says that the sewage pipe is putting out about 50 gallons of sewage per minute, now mixed with the creek water. And here's Olivia's response. Miss Wyckoff, I am going to have to get a hold of Joe to get more information about this issue. But have you picked up sandbags from the highway department to divert the water away from your home? They are free at the highway garage, and you are welcome to take as many as you need. That's obviously not long-term solution, but could be very helpful right now. Please allow me to get a hold of him, and I will get back with you as soon as I can.
Okay, now wait a minute. How many sandbags, Tom, do you think you would need?
I would probably say, to be safe, probably 500 to 1,000.
I don't even.
Can you imagine two people doing that many sandbags?
Yeah,
and,
right.
and especially with them with having a heart attack and being a disabled vet. I mean,
Right.
really, actually, this last time that we just had this last flood when I came out with Catherine to your house, Kelly, there was a former teacher here in Alexandria, and she lives over by the high school, and the water was coming up into her yard, so I went and got sandbags for her to put in her yard. And I did this at like 10:30 at night. She ended up not needing them because it stopped. But I mean, and she's an elderly lady,
You're
what,
awesome. That's
I couldn't
awesome.
just
You're
let her
awesome.
her house get flooded, but thankfully it stopped and they didn't have to use them.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, how do they expect people to use sandbags when, they possibly can't be, capable of doing it? It just
Exactly.
doesn't make any sense.
And really, this is the commissioner's fault. So they should be sending an army of people out there to fix this on, their dime, not the Wyckoffs.
And that bridge right there on Bethel, that was just redone. I want to say 5-6 years ago, maybe not even that long ago. And it's still not right, because you can see that it's not elevated as high on the east end of the bridge, because
Yeah.
it makes a
That's
dip.
right. That's right.
where all that water's ponding.
Tweety Bird in the comments ask, that's a creek? That's Pipe Creek that flows under that bridge, right?
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
Okay. So yeah, Tweety Bird, that's Pipe Creek that flows
It
under.
hooks into White River. Our waters are all clean here.
Yeah. Whoops. Hold on.
So that's great that that's all going right into the White River, people. So if you think
Yeah.
this isn't affecting you, Madison County, it's
Yes, it
affecting
is.
you.
That's crazy.
So when you're rafting down those rivers,
Thanks, Catherine.
Yeah, right.
I do it too, Lisa. We have kayaks out back you can see, and no way, not here.
That's crazy.
Well, we go out. We don't do here in Madison County.
Yeah, right.
We go over to Delaware County.
You're not safe here either.
That's right.
Okay, so then Kelly responds back and says, "Ma'am, my husband is a disabled vet. I have had a heart attack last summer from
Yes.
I think I went the wrong way.
no, we're skipping around. I didn't have them in order. So just go back
Oh,
to the
that's
other one and
good.
start reading. Go back to the one that you
No.
just had. Yeah, they skip
No,
around.
we already did this one.
Okay, go to the next one then.
Okay.
Well, I ended up saying to Olivia Pratt that we both have health problems. We cannot do 1,000 of those. And the health department, knowing the rain was coming and it's their sewage, not ours, should have come and done something about it.
Well, sure. Yeah, that blows my mind.
But there was no
So-
reply after that, of course.
Oh, so she didn't respond back to you after that?
No.
Sir.
Now that was back in April.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is all from April.
So for Stephanie Mellinger, knowing that there's never been any signs, and let me tell you that again, public, there's never been any signs while we've been there that have been put up by the health department. So this last time that they knew the rain was coming again, there was no sandbags or signs.
There has never been, as far as I know, there's never been any signs out there.
Go back
Right.
one, Kate. Go backwards.
That's me doing
Go
that.
one more.
What are we?
I'll ask the girl
Right
that
there
used
at
to
the
live
top.
there.
Yes,
This
please
is
do.
what-
I'd love to talk to her.
This
Yeah,
is what Joe is saying.
and she's a registered nurse.
Oh my. Okay.
So they know
Joe,
it's an issue.
Joe
Yeah.
says, I heard from Stephanie about your concerns with the tile. Completely understandable. It's definitely an issue. Unfortunately, while the tile is full, there's no way to work on it. With that much pressure in the tile, it would make far more of an issue to work on it than you currently have. Again,
When would it be a good time?
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Right.
With over 200 houses of sewage, there's never going to be a good time, Joe.
Yeah. Like I don't understand that. That's shocking to me that they would say that.
That was on April 3rd when the pipe broke this last time, and it's still not fixed to today.
Nope. As a matter of fact, Tom got a call, and we can't say from whom, but they specifically told us that they checked around, and the health department said they are not going to fix that sewage pipe,
I believe that. I absolutely believe
even
it.
though they're being fined from IDEM from it. Well, I should
Well,
say we
sure,
are.
cool
It's
as
our
hell.
money.
You pay, I mean,
It's cheaper to
$1,700.
Yeah, than $20.5 million.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah, they can pay a lot of monthly fines or quarterly fines or whatever it is for one for $1,700 before they get to 20 million.
Exactly.
So,
You know,
this
Or
is
even the cost of just fixing the sewer pipe for now, so
Yeah.
that we could stop the sewage flowing into the rivers and everywhere and all over these properties. But they won't even fix the one pipe to stop that.
and the first time that they came out to fix the pipe, they wrapped it with ice and water shield
Yeah.
and put some bands on it, thinking that was going to solve the problem.
Right.
And then the second time they came out, they put in a some kind of rib pipe. I don't know exactly what they call it, and wasn't there when they made the connection to the other point. But they brought in a concrete truck and filled it full of concrete all the way where they dug it out and replaced the piece of pipe, and that lasted the longest.
And that's after Joe tried to get us to pay for it first, saying they could get a farmer that would probably do that for us, dig it up for us so we could fix it for a couple $100. And I said, yeah, I don't think so.
so this is back from April. Have you heard any type of update from April?
No.
Nothing.
Okay. So then you get to watch Rick Gardner speak to Lisa, and he says that he's really there for answers. And then you get to hear Stephanie Mellinger tell me she's really not aware of this situation.
Oh my goodness.
What are your responses to the videos that you watched? If you missed those videos, they're quite entertaining for anybody who's tuning in new.
Well, I'm pretty sure that my new heart monitor set off some palpitations. I was screaming at the video I was watching, and pretty much everything she said that laid it back on us was a lie. I'm sorry, it was a straight up fabrication.
So
It's not our fault from our septic. Our septic's not involved in this at all, and it's clean. Thank you. Our well was not affected until their sewage ran into it. We had none of this problem until the county would not take accountability and fix their piping.
Yeah.
So the health department has never checked your water, correct?
Not one time.
No.
Wow.
And so
wait,
how did
okay. I didn't know that. So they've
no.
never done anything with your water?
Stephanie
No,
said,
not
why
one
would-
thing.
No.
Stephanie said, well, why would she? That's private property.
Well, if it's your sewage pipe in my backyard and you guys are having issues, don't you think the normal person would want to check on those people in that house that's contaminated?
I thought the health department's job was to keep
Hey,
you
They're
I
not.
have an idea. Why doesn't the health department let you guys use their $900,000 motorhome that they've got?
We would have appreciated that. We would have appreciated them doing anything to help us thus
Oh, that's
far,
a good-
Lisa.
They could give that motor home for them temporary to live out of.
That's what
That
I'm
would be
saying.
really nice
Great
because we
idea.
do have to return it. That's a great idea.
I think
And
that's-
we also need to be able to park it on their lot and use their electricity and
Well,
water
you can.
because we're
Yeah,
at my
yeah, they built
deceased
it.
brother's backyard.
Yeah, they built a $900,000 pole barn to house the $500,000 RV,
Okay, I heard about
all
that.
bought by the taxpayers because it's all grant money. Absolutely, it's right over there by the 911 dispatch center. So you should be able to go over there and use the RV. I mean, this is a state of an emergency, you would
That's
think,
what
and
I'm thinking.
EMA. They also have a command RV as well that's housed right there with the beer cooler morgue. So we've got RVs here that they really should be able to let you use. That's a great idea, Lisa.
Hey,
Yeah, and yet
That's
we
cool
haven't
of 'em.
gotten a bottle of water from them, Lisa. So you
yeah,
know,
right.
They haven't even brought you a bottle of water.
nothing.
Nothing.
My disabled husband carries in all our water every time we need it, and he wears braces on his legs.
God. I think we've come up with some really good plans that they could do.
Now, see how quickly this comes when you have a good focus group at the table, and we've got, and that just goes to show you, Baston needs to go get her money refunded from Rose Holman because she
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know what to say. Stephanie needs to quit her doctorate program because it's clearly not helping her at all.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, my list can go on and on and on, but this is a really serious issue, and it is a threat to human health.
It is. I mean, we're kind of making light of things here because I think you
Because
have
if you
to
don't,
laugh
you'd
or
start
cry.
crying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But yeah, this is a serious issue. And I mean, I really feel for you two and everybody else in Alexandria, but I feel for you because, you know, you're not at your home, a place that you've worked on and you're trying to make it, you know, I assume that your goal was to live there the rest of your life.
Oh,
Yes, it
certainly.
was.
And now our payment has even raised because our property taxes went up, of course.
Yeah,
The
he
nerve,
hasn't-
the
Oh.
nerve, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
share with us about your property taxes. Did you challenge those? Because the
Yes.
house is not livable.
We went up and challenged them at Pendleton Library because, okay, I don't know what you guys did today, but my husband was running bleach through our pipelines so that we can eventually come back to our house that we're paying for. Anyhow, we went
Gee.
up to Pendleton Library and we appealed our taxes, and she would only let us do it. I said I want to go back to 2022 when this started. Okay, because we couldn't use the yard, can't have a garden, can't touch anything. We didn't know how bad we were yet. But I want to go back to 2022 until 2025 this year and appeal our taxes. And she told us we could only do that for 1 year. And they would only write, we have the paperwork, they would only write contaminated area on the last 2 lots or 3 lots. 2 lots, I think, on the house.
lots.
And on the other 3, she said, you know, honey, I'm going to lower your house value down to like 6,000. And I said, who do I sue for that? Because she said there's walls up in this structure, so we have to put that on there for the house. And I said, I hate to tell you this, but the walls are contaminated. There's bacteria, this coliform and E. coli on my walls, my sinks, my floors, everywhere. The house is emancipated. You can't they don't even understand. So yes, we did go and try. And Lauren is going to take over that for us, bless her heart. And she's going to get that taken care of with the auditor because I think they owe us a refund.
Damn Skippy.
Jesus.
Now pull that what I just sent you, Christopher, up in Messenger. I want to read this to the people. So if anybody has been following along, you have been watching the videos. Rick Gardner told Lisa that this wasn't his meeting. He's not running this meeting. He really isn't sure who's running the meeting. And then Stephanie Mellinger told me, well, the commissioners are running the meeting. And then when I told her, well, they said they weren't, then she wasn't sure. So I want everybody to see right here. The designated representatives for the petition are Olivia Pratt, Vice President of the Board of Commissioners. That's who owns this.
Hold on. There you
Sorry.
go. Okay. No, you're fine. All right, go on.
That's who really owns this is the commissioners. So I want everybody to be clear. The other thing I want everybody to be clear on, and Kelly Wyckoff, if I were you, Carol Purdy is the board chair of the Madison County Health Department. Her husband is Dr. Charles Purdy, who is a family practice physician. She should know the dangers of this. And clearly now that Stephanie Mellinger is unwilling to accept any type of knowledge, you probably need to start reaching out to Carol Purdy and the board members. I'd also be calling the health officer, Dr. Goshert. Now, funny story is Dr. Goshert and Dr. Purdy were at one time practice partners, and Dr. Goshert has been retired for 6 years. I would be calling these people and I would be demanding some answers from their incompetent health department.
Mhm.
Because the board, Christopher, is supposed to be making these people answer for what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay, I will do that,
Absolutely.
Catherine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Stephanie Mellinger and Rick Gardner, as you're watching this show, now you know who is supposed to be accountable for this. And it's a sad day when the community members and the people who are actually being harmed by this have to tell you what your job and your role is.
Right.
See, I don't have to get a refund on my education. Okay. Because I know what time of day it is.
God
So I
bless
want
you.
everybody to be clear about that, because I'm sick and tired of these people who want to pound their chest with these initials and are clueless in Madison County.
Yeah.
Now, you guys can say your piece, but I have had it to hear with how people are being treated.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is absolutely no rhyme or reason that this is happening. And I'm telling you right now, what we should do as a community is start a GoFundMe page. And we should get about 100 porta potties. And then we should go decorate every one of these incompetent people's yards with 10 or 15 porta potties and tell the community at any time the homeless people can go there and shit in those yards.
That would
I
be.
have the stuff to fill them.
Great.
I have the stuff to fill them. Don't worry.
Yeah,
And
right.
and I'll tell you another thing. After we're done with it, we're not going to pay with it with the GoFund money. You know what we're going to do? We're going to bill each one of you that live in those elected official houses, and you can pay that bill, because that's how
Yep.
stupid you people sound.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
we'll see how quickly we can get some resolution. And then I'm going to take the GoFund money, and then we're going to go have a pizza party, because that's about what you do to us when you're out
Yeah.
paving your own roads and you're out
Absolutely.
making sure that whatever your clock tower is being done or that historical building's being done. This is how insulting you are to us.
Yep.
Yeah, or wanting to put in a new bike trail. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Right.
go.
Yeah, that's
A
what I
bike
was.
trail that people don't even want.
Yeah, yeah. The hiking trail here in Alexandria. Yeah, I don't even know how much their money they're wanting to spend on that, but it's not even developed. Okay, so I went over to the Alexandria pool, which is like one of the only pools in Madison County for kids. There's one over in Elwood that they just redone, but the building is literally falling off of the foundation, and the sidewalks. If somebody was supposed to in a wheelchair, you can't. The sidewalks are so tore up. It's horrible. They're almost as bad as some of the potholes on Bethel. But yeah, that they're putting money
What do
towards
you
things
think
that-
about that pool? Do you think that pool's foundation is going to be able to support that?
I have no idea.
There's lots of cracks in it.
There's a bunch. And I guess last year the slide, they had a water hose, like a regular water hose filter, like strung up to the top of it so that the kids could go down the slide, because the pump to the slide didn't work. So they had a water hose. So
Well, I hope the water didn't come from the creek.
Oh no, well, it came from the eventually it did, because Pipe Creek runs right close to that. So
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
And the thing is, for everybody who's watching, there's none of us that don't want the kids to have enjoyment, but we want the kids to be safe.
Well, it's got to be done safe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, what all of us on this show tonight would like to know, where are all of our tax dollars going?
Exactly.
Because when you look around, nothing is being improved. Is anybody concerned about this? Because I sure am.
It's
You bet you.
all it's all no pun intended, but a shit show, because like you said, they're doing these little weird things and making these, like, where what's going on with the path to nowhere and all, and the clock tower thing and all this weird stuff that nobody else ever really cares about or knows anything about. But then it's like these things are like, well, it's going to take us years to be able to figure this out, and we don't have the money for, all these weird things, and we're not going to be able to do it without raising everybody's tax dollars. And it's like, and the biggest issue is no one can have any input on any of this. You can't go to their meetings and talk to them. You can't go to their outside of the monthly meetings, to their weird little meetings like they had up in Alexandria, and talk to them. If you do, they're going to tell you, well, you can't video. I don't want to answer questions. You can't be hostile. I don't know. And it's like, where can we go? Here's the deal, Rick, I'll give you a pass on everything. Here's what I need to have answered. When will you know? And where can we go that you'll stand in front as a leader, leading from the front? You were in the military, sir. You lead from the front, not from the back. So tell us when you're going to grow a set of balls and you're going to lead from the front. Tell us just a time and a date. When will you know what you have to tell us? and where will you go, and where can we go to hear it from you and your two co-commissioners, and where you guys will tell us what's going to happen, what the game plan is, like who has the game plan, and when are you going to let us know? Just tell us that. That would be a good starting point.
And here's the thing. Stephanie Mellinger could put together a $900,000 pole barn and have it erected. She can buy that $500,000 IRV. That didn't take any time at all for her to spend. As a matter of fact, she had it all spent within about 18 months. So you mean to tell me that you can find a site, you can build this building, you can do all these other things, but you can't figure out how to fix these people's drain?
Right.
And I'm going to tell you what it comes down to. It comes down to priorities. It comes down to wants and needs, right? And this county is the type of mentality, out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't affect any of us. So why does it matter? And this is what I'm going to tell you, people. This is why you run for election.
Yeah.
You run for election and you upset the apple cart, and then you just expose everything.
Yes.
Right? That's what you do. And that's what you tell people, register to vote. You get them out there and you vote these people out, because it doesn't seem to be there's any other way. Right?
Yes.
People often think I'm angry because I lost the auditor's race. I didn't lose the auditor's race. Larry Savage just showed America, all of America in Madison County, that they make up ballots and they force them through and they make whoever they want win. The machines are not secure. They showed that to everybody on a video, and now they're upset with us. It's not my fault. You got proved that you guys are cheating. But you know what? I give the people a voice. I could care less. It's actually to my benefit. Had I won that seat, I wouldn't be able to help the Wyckoffs. I wouldn't be able to do as much as I'm doing now. See, if these people had a brain, it'd be smarter to put Katherine in a seat, because it'd shut her down just a little bit. Instead, I was going to make a bunch of noise. And then I'm going to teach other people how to make a bunch of noise.
Right, exactly.
And then together, we're all going to make noise.
Right. So,
we're all very happy to have you fight for us, Katherine.
Yes.
Yeah, Madison, it's
you, Laureen, all of the helpers, Chris, we're very thankful for you guys, and so will the rest of the public be someday when they hit a wall that no one will help them with.
That's the thing. Just FYI for people in Madison County or anywhere else in the state of Indiana, all 92 counties, the voters registration is open. You can register to vote if you're not. If you've moved, if you need to change your address, any of that stuff, you can hit that down below. It's www.indianavoters.com, Indiana Voters with an S at the end, www.indianavoters.com. It takes you about 3 minutes. We don't have an election until next year, but you can register now and get it taken care of. So that's there. So
what do you guys want to say to these elected officials who are all going to be watching this show, and how can the community help you guys?
We're just to kind of wind it down, because we're getting a little late here. What you just kind of as the last kind of thoughts, what are you guys thinking? Where do we go from here? And what anything that the three of you want to say, what's your thoughts?
Get used to me, because I'm going to start being around. It's just, I hate to see this little tiny town. I hate to see this beautiful county of Madison County to go to hell, because the elected officials who are career officials that have been in there for 24, 25, 26 years and still hasn't done anything for the citizens of Madison County. I'm 100% like, you will be seeing a lot more of me, Rick Gardner, and you might as well just get used to it, because I'm going to be right there, right in your face.
That's good.
Stephanie, you too.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
We haven't been in this county very long, and we've been busy redoing the home and everything. But when we moved from a northern county that I won't name, but it doesn't have these problems, to small town USA, so far from what I've personally seen, the officials, elected officials and such, are very small.
Yeah.
But they have big
good.
egos.
Yeah.
And big pockets.
Not their paychecks and everything, just them as people with morals and saying a prayer before the meetings and things. Yes.
Yep. I definitely, I got you.
Tom?
I
Tom?
just got to say to the officials, we're not quitting. We'll be there even after they get the utility district or whatever they may do. We'll still be there. So
Yep, that's right.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. And you guys all seem like amazing people. I hate that we had to meet under these circumstances. That kind of sucks.
Under the morally and ethically bankrupt elected officials.
Yep, that's what they
Yeah,
are.
right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. So I'm definitely interested in following this and fighting the fight and helping you in any way we can. You guys are all three of you are always welcome back here. I love that you guys are involved. I hate that you're going through this. Lisa, I'm happy that you're involved and starting to do what you're doing. I've been following what you're doing on your page.
Yes.
If you're in the area, if you're interested in watching, someone else like Katherine doing her thing, Lisa is on Facebook. You can follow her there and watch what she's doing. So I appreciate all of that, and we'll definitely keep you guys in touch and keep up with what you're doing there. And if there's anything we can do to help, we will definitely help you guys. So I appreciate it, and we'll just I'm going to one by one put you down below here. I'll let Katherine.
Here's the biggest thing I want everybody to know before we leave. This is not Rick Gardner's district.
Yeah.
This is Dick Wine's district.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
This is John Rich Wine's.
Yeah,
who
where
did
was
not
he?
show up for the people? Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He didn't even show up for the
at
people.
all.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's got his road paved.
Yeah.
So understand that Rich Wine he should resign actually, but that's where a lot of pressure needs to go from you guys, because that's your district representative. Down here, down south, I have Olivia Pratt, and then Rick is in the middle of the area. And so I just want everybody to know that. I also want people to know Kristopher and we're trying to empower the people to take their own backyards over. That's what tonight was about, to bring Lisa with the Wyckoffs. I'm still here. I'm still in the background, but nobody will send the message home greater than the people in your own backyard. And this is what they're going to do. So this was a relationship that I wanted to merge together. And while Kelly and Tom, at times you may be restricted of who you can speak to and how you can do that, Lisa's allowed to say anything she wants. Right.
Well, and
So
I
she
just
doesn't-
want to real quickly say the reason they're not restricted for any other reason than there's currently quite possibly going to be legal action from this. They have an attorney, and so that's why they've got to be careful. Other than that, there's nothing restricting them. But that's I don't know that we made that exactly clear, but that's the reason they've got to be cautious. But other than that,
I'm a mouthpiece, so that's what I'm here for. So just reach out to me and I'd be more than glad to come to you or meet you at your house or whatever.
Absolutely. Well, very
thank
good.
you guys.
Yeah. I'll put you down below. You guys are more than welcome to click off if you want, or you can stick around or whatever. But I will put you guys down below, and we will be in touch with you.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
Great.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. I don't know what's happening here. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching. Hate what these people are going through. It's a horrible situation. But I think that they've been dealing with this for years, but hopefully we can start making loud enough noise that it won't take another year into 2026 and then 15 months past that. That's just absolutely nonsensical. So hopefully we can make enough noise and start this going on. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you have not, please smash that like button, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you an absolute thing to subscribe. We don't cost you money here. You can donate to the show if you want, but you do not have to. You don't have to. All that we ask of you is to watch and to share. If you feel so inclined, you can get involved and comment and be involved. But all that we ask is that you watch the show and spread the word. That's what really helps. If you want to follow us on social media, all of our links are there. YouTube, the Rumble, our 2 Facebook pages, our X account, my studio lines there, the emails to the show and everything. That's all there. So follow us all there. We will be here tomorrow night. Obviously, we're here 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday. So that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, starting at 9 p.m. each evening. We will be here tomorrow talking about the property theft in Winchester, Randolph County. It's just as disgusting as what we talked about tonight. It's absolutely deplorable. We'll be talking about those idiots over there. And obviously, there's a lot going on at the state. There's still things happening here in Muncie, Delaware County, and Henry County, and the world keeps turning. So we'll watch, obviously, what's going on in the Middle East. My thoughts and prayers go out to the soldiers involved here in America and everyone making decisions, as well as all those people over there. And then lastly, I just want to say, the final, right as we're getting off here, Indiana Pacers lose it in Game 7. The score is 103 Oklahoma City Thunder to the Pacers 91. They did not pull it out much as I had predicted, sadly. Not a sports guy, but I was kind of interested in this last little run here. So it's over, and they lost it 103 Oklahoma City Thunder to 91 Indiana Pacers. So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big show. We're going to be talking about Winchester. Oh, not Thriving Alone. Let's see. What am I talking about? Oh, there we are. Thriving Alone. We're going to be talking about the property dispute, the property theft that's possibly going on in Winchester. It's disgusting. You won't want to miss it. You guys take care. God bless. Have a great rest of your Sunday evening, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Good night. Good